Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you guys for giving up your Saturday morning and hanging out with Jimmy and I. So what I'm going to go through is the future of fitness and then how to build a successful business within this landscape going into 2021. So no doubt this year has changed the landscape of fitness more than any other, and it continues to do so. And what I've been pretty successful at in my career is predicting where the industry goes. And there's going to be some big shifts. There's already been some profound shifts, and they're going to continue moving into 2021. So some of those shifts are going to be a real growth in the boutique gym and studio. And the reason I say that is people will want to feel safe. So safety and trust is going to be the new appeal, all right, for the consumer as they come through. And we're already experiencing this in Sydney. We limit our classes. We have pods. Everyone has their own equipment. And as a result of that, we are growing faster than we've ever grown coming out of lockdown, because it's such a powerful currency, is that trust. And so the smaller boutique gym heading into 2021 is absolutely going to boom. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect is online. So obviously online has really grown and developed over the last 5 years, but in the last 6 months, it's probably accelerated the online fitness model by at least 5 years. And so now people are becoming much more comfortable training online. They didn't have a choice for a long time. And they're now, really adopting it. On the other side, from us as practitioners, as us as business owners, we were probably sitting on the fence for online for a long time, and it forced us to get us off the fence. So your business model will need to have an online component moving into the future. So that's the second aspect. The third aspect is the consumer demands are now going to be a lot higher. They're not only looking right now for a place where they can get fit, where they can get strong, where they can lose weight. They want more and will demand more from us. So the more well-rounded your facility is, the better. So if you're not offering nutrition, then you need to be offering nutrition. If you're not offering, opportunities to expand their mindset, then you need to be. If you're not offering corrective exercise in some capacity, all right, then you need to be looking at that in restoration. They will be looking at us, and it's really going to be the places that are the most well-rounded, all right? If you're a singular modality heading into 2021, like if you're hanging your head on a CrossFit, for example, and that's all you're doing, or you're only doing spin or whatever else, then the life cycle is going to be much, much smaller for you moving into 2021 as well. So there's some of the kind of predictions that I'm going to make about the industry moving forward. And in saying that, what I want to do is I want to pull the curtains back. I own a gym in Sydney. I think most of the people on this probably are aware of that. It's in Sydney's Karen Point. And for me, it's it's not my core business. For me, it's like a little bit of an experiment. I call it the lab, right? And it's where I experiment different training techniques as well as different business techniques as well. And so I bought this building to house our academy and our HQ. And I'll put a gym in there. And what I'm doing is I'm building a seven-figure model in here, so I can prove the concept and then I can show it to other people as well. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull the curtains back on that model, what it looks like, how we're doing it, and your model will look different. There's no doubt about it. Like, you've got to obviously personalize the model for you, but I really want you to see the architecture more than anything else. I want you to see the methodology, not the exact specifics as we go through. So that's what I'm going to do now. If that sounds good, just put it in the chat. I just want to get a little bit of interaction from you guys. What are you most excited about? Maybe from this session, or what are you most excited about from all the sessions today? Let's just hear from a few people. I don't want to just talk at you. I want to get some interaction as well. Thank you, Jackson, for your interaction, mate. Thank you, Josh Buss. All right, so I'm going to flip over my screen. All right, as we go through. So I'm just going to play this. All right, so there's my facility there, 350 square meters in Sydney's Shire. And it's called Momentum 360, just so you guys are aware of it. Okay, so this is the formula that we're working, okay? So this is it. It is going to have 200 team training members, all right? So that is our core product, is team training. I had built a really successful personal training studio and semi-private training studio in Sydney's eastern suburbs, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to set up a team training a little bit different. What I've looked for is I've looked for a blue ocean, essentially. And what we found is that there is a real gap. There's so many great independent operators where the gym is located. If you walk around, you'll see about 8 amazing independent gyms, really well done. But where the gap was the demographic. Most of them are all feasting over the 18 to kind of 35-year-olds. What we found, given the level of proficiency and credibility in my coaches, as well as our real focus on movement restoration, injury prevention, and management, we found that the gap for us is between 35 and 49. So really, really important that you have a look at, where the gaps are in your market. And once we identified that, it was a critical turning point in our business. So where's the blue ocean for you? For us, team training, 200 members. Semi-private training. So this is a service, and we talk about 2021, and I know Josh Buss is on here and he's doing it particularly well now as well. This is going to be the product of 2021. If anyone knows or has heard me speak, they know I've been beating on the semi-private training drum probably for about 8 years now. I brought it over to Australia about 8 years, really successfully. But I think it's going to go to another level in 2021. Reason is, again, people want privacy, they want trust, they want space, they want intimacy, they want great coaching. And so I've now evolved this model. It's now no longer a 4-to-1, it's a 6-to-1. It's a skeleton program, but the actual exercises, regressions, progressions, and coaching are personalized to the individual themselves, all right, as you move through. Next part is the hybrid. So this is the huge opportunity, all right? People are now accustomed to training online. They're now conditioned to training online, and a lot of people like the flexibility of it. Now, I'm not talking about Zoom training, okay? Zoom training is not online training. All right, a lot of people adopted Zoom training because it was the closest thing that they could do to adapt their face-to-face business model online in very, very quick time. But hybrid training, the way that it's going to work is someone comes into our facility, and that frequency can be anywhere from once a fortnight to once a month. They get an A and B program. They have a one-on-one session with a coach for a significant, at least 60 minutes, where they're going through that program, and then they are coached online for the remainder of the period, right, as they go through. What they're paying for is they're not paying for Zoom classes. They're not paying for, you clapping in front of the screen. What they're paying for is really good coaching, fantastic programming, incredible accountability, and, coaching them not only on their movement, but also on their nutrition as well. Kids program really makes sense in our business model. Reason is most of our clients are parents. So it's a really simple addition for us. It also enables us to utilize a facility when it's not really being used. All right. So it's really good utilization in those off-peak hours. I don't see many people in the country doing this particularly well, nutrition coaching. Matt and Fiona Keeble, a couple of clients of mine, probably do it best in the country that I've seen so far. Nutrition coaching is such a big area of need for a lot of our clients. And just don't mistake me here. We work within our scope of practice. We don't give meal plans. We don't prescribe a particular diet or anything like that. We're coaching people on nutrition habits. So it's more about behavior modification. And those nutrition habits are aligned with the healthy eating guidelines. There's a real format to how we do this, and it's going to be an integral part of our gym. Internal challenges. Obviously, what we're looking at is we're not only looking at, so when most people look at growing a business, they look at one metric, and that is how many members can I get? What you want to look at is you want to look at 3, all right? So you want to look at A, how many members can I get? How can I get that member to spend more with me? How can I get them to purchase multiple times? You need distinct and unique strategies for all three. And so we want to run internal challenges. These can have a different theme. Josh is on here today. He's got a great, he did a great mindset internal challenge, right, as you're going through. I'm not interested in running one-on-one PT in my facility. However, again, I've got 350 glorious square meters. And so I want to utilize that. So I'm going to have rental PTs in here. All right. So they're utilizing the space and I can make 36 grand without having to do anything. This is another big area that I'm really, really excited about. Internships. One of the biggest challenges that businesses will have going into 2021 as they want to grow will be staff. All right. The quality of staff is at its all-time lowest for mine. All right. And there's a few reasons for that. Obviously, the RTO landscape has changed. There is less trainers in the market, but there's a lot of employers at the moment. So what you need is a system where you can actually take the best candidates, the best students, put them in a paid internship program, and essentially you're getting paid to train staff and then have your pick as you go through. And again, we've got a real system around this. There's a couple of people doing it well. Jungle Brothers is doing it particularly well. Justin Grinnell in the US is doing it particularly well. And that's where we're taking a lot of our influence from. Meals, supplements, clothing, all pretty self-explanatory. Rent is probably on the low side. We want to rent out our facility for things like kids' parties, courses, and the like as well. And again, it's about utilization of space, because if you look at most people's spaces, they're used between 5 to 9, and they're used between maybe 5 to 8, and that's about it. So how can we get more utilization of space? So that is a $1.2 million business model right there. Now, some of these might not be as relevant to you. That's okay. This is the kind of architecture. This is the methodology in and around it. You might slot in retreats, or you might have more one-on-one. There might be different areas that you actually drop in on this. So I'm just going to check in with you guys. A, do you have any questions moving forward? B, what's been the biggest insight that you've had so far? Just want to check in. Throw it in the chat for me, just so I can have a look.
Hey, man, I'll just say one thing. And what I love about hybrid as well is it limits your ability to get smashed with suspensions as well.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I was talking to a lady yesterday, especially around Christmas and stuff. And she's was really scared about suspensions, which kind of, damage us all over Christmas, but was a part of the industry, right? Now with online, it's necessarily not as much, because if someone's going away, it's like, Dan, do you still want to lose weight? It's still a goal of yours. And if they're valuing the training, it's a really easy changeover as well. Just cool, let's go online for however long it is. And it keeps their debits up, which is massive if you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to minimize the ebbs and flows in income, and that enables us to do so. So it's a great point. In terms of, am I running kids at the moment, Josh? We actually put it on hold, and that's because we need to hit markers. And I'm going to share the markers so we were going to run it the previous school holidays, and I've actually put a hold on it. And I'll go into the methodology. Every time you add an additional service or product, it takes a lot of time, energy away from something else. There is always opportunity costs. And so right now, I'm not happy with where our team training and our semi-private training is in terms of a number perspective, but also a systems perspective as well. It's good. Good's not good. Good is not good enough. It's got to be great. So that's looking like it's going to be the summer school holidays for us in terms of the kid launch. Hoff, you like how I've set everything up. Fantastic. Jackson, you like the multiple streams of income. Awesome. Thank you guys for those that are participating. Appreciate it. So the methodology is really simple. Number one is you want to build the ecosystem first. If I would, I've owned fitness businesses now for about 10, 12 years. I don't know. I'm a dinosaur. Been a while. And then I've been coaching for about the last 3 years and have over 100 coaching clients. And if I could really summarize the major error that I see is that people just try to do too much too soon. And that's from trying to do too many services too soon. That's too many marketing channels too soon. It's too many social channels. it's too many staff. They just try to do too much too soon before they actually optimize and then build. So the methodology is optimize, then stack, all right, as you go through. And so my biggest thing is build the ecosystem first and foremost. What I mean is on the ecosystem is get some minimum, absolute, like for us, we didn't introduce semi-private training until we had 100 members, all right? And then we're not going to introduce hybrid training until we hit 180 total as we go through. And once you build the ecosystem, all the additional products and services are really, really easy to sell at that point, all right, as you go through. But if you're just trying to, if you got 30 clients, 40 clients, 50 clients, then you're trying to add meals and supplements and clothing and everything else, you're just spreading yourself way too thin. So focus on breadth, build the ecosystem, minimum critical mass, then build the depth as you go through. Brad, you've partnered with AIPT, 15K per intake. Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. We're running intern and then we're looking to do something very, very similar. Again, it's like, I love it on two levels. A, it's more income, but B, you run AIPT, you just pick the talent and then offer them a great job. So I absolutely love that. So here's markers. I'm a big believer in markers. Okay. So massive believer in markers in terms of, I'm only going to do this once I've hit this. So this is ours. So I'm always prospecting for rental PTs just because it's easy money right now. Obviously, there's some criteria on that. They've got to be aligned with our values, similar training philosophies as well. And they've just got to be good quality people. But I'm always prospecting for these rental PTs. Here's my markers. I'm not allowed to touch semi-private until I've hit 100 in team training. Well, we've done that. That's why we've got semi-private. Now, this is where we're at the moment. We've got to hit 120 on the team training plus 20 on the semi-private training before we introduce the hybrid model. Then we introduce the kids program. When we have all three services at 180, we run 2 internal challenges or nutrition coaching when we're at 100. We double that when we're at 150. We introduce clothing and intern programs when we're at 180 and supplements and meals when we hit 200. All right. So what this enables me to do, and my staff love it because I don't overwhelm them. They can see systematically all the different markers that they need to hit. It doesn't overwhelm them. They know that we've got to obviously dial in a lot of the systems along the way before we hit these. And the analogy that I quite often give is it's like a plate spinner, right? If you've ever seen a plate spinner, when they're spinning a plate, there's a whole bunch of time, energy, effort, exertion to get that plate spinning. Once they get it spinning, it spins on its own, and then they can add the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. That's what these markers act like for us, all right? We need to systemize and optimize before we add the next one, all right, as we go through. So here's the numbers that I build it on. Again, like guys that have been following my stuff for a little while, or some of my clients are on here, you guys know it. What gets measured gets managed, but the other one is data drives direction, all right? And so these are the numbers that I know. I know that from starting from scratch, you can have a 200-member fitness business in 15 months following these numbers, all right, as you go through. So assumptions are this. We convert 30% of our leads to LBE, all right? And we run primarily we put a different cover on it, but we run a 4-week LBE at $200, okay? And we've sold about 100 since reopening from COVID, all right, thereabouts, a little bit over. So we convert 30% of our leads to LBE, all right? I believe that could be improved, and that's an area that we need to improve, but this is what it is right now. LBE, Sean, is a low barrier entry offer, sometimes referred to as a LBO, entry level offer. We've just, we've played around with lots. 197 works beautifully because it's not too different from your membership price. We liquidate the front end marketing costs, plus we make some on the side. And so it just it's a nice number. We ended up doubling it. We always used to be at 97. Now we're at 197, and funnily enough, we're actually performing better at 197. we're at 72% right now in terms of conversion from LBE to member. So once that member is in the LBE, they buy their 28-day program, and we put lots of different skins on this, like it might be a Fit Over 30 program, Fit Over 40 program, might be a detox program, might be Fit Mum Project, might be a nutrition and detox one. We convert 70% into reoccurring members, all right, as we go through. We're at 72. We sell a lot on the front end, and there's a lot of methodology in terms of getting this high. Industry average is about 50%. All right. So we know, knowing those numbers, if I generate 100 leads, I'm going to get 25 members in a month. All right. So 25 reoccurring members every single month. And then my retention rate is at 90%. All right. So our monthly retention rate is at 90% as you go through. So you guys need to know your numbers, and then you can reverse engineer this out. I was listening to Alex Hormozi this morning, and he identified what I quite often see as well is a lot of people go, hey, I want a 100 member gym, 200, 300, 500, but they don't know their numbers on how to get there. All right. And so by this, I know exactly what marker we need to be at every single month. If you need any help with this, hit up Jimmy and I, and we can help uncover it for you as you go through. So key pieces. How do you get there? Number one is you got to get your lead. Leads are the bottleneck for a lot of the businesses as they're building. So there's 7 different lead flows that both Jimmy and I teach. 7 different lead flows. Focus on one, optimize the absolute shit out of it. All right. So for us, our primary lead flow right now is Facebook, and we optimize the shit out of it. Second is referral. Okay. And there's a system behind it. Then organic, then JVs. There's 7 lead flows in total. Don't try do all 7. At this point, you want to optimize 2 to 3, all right, as you're moving through, and just have them super dialed in. Second part is you want to have a really good onboarding system. So if you have a look at our onboarding system, we have mapped out every point in the user's journey for their 28 days. It includes 14 emails, 7 texts, 3 phone calls, a welcome booklet, welcome swag, free coffee at the local business. It's legit, all right? It's a really good onboarding system. So we convert 70% of those LBEs into reoccurring, and I keep 90% of my members every single month minimum. This has been a real development for us. I encourage anyone out there that wants to grow and grow aggressively, get an appointment booker. Because if you want to grow a $1 million gym, maybe you only want to grow a $500,000 gym. Maybe you want to grow a $200,000 gym. Either way, you're going to have to do a lot of sales. All right. And so I said leads are quite often the bottleneck, but it's also people's time and emphasis on sales, how much time they're actually dedicating to making sales. And so what we did is I've got a business development manager, but then I've also got an appointment booker who essentially just dials all the leads, and their one and only, there's really 2 jobs in this. Number 1 is to book them in for my business development manager so he can sign them up face to face. Number 2, warm them up, all right, as they come through. They're inexpensive, really inexpensive. You can play appointment bookers about $25 an hour and have some commission structures in there. And it's been an absolute game changer for us. You need a VA. Speak to Jimmy about this. VA will change your life. Absolutely change your life. You need a VA just to do a lot of the client support and organic outreach. And then you need 1 to 2 coaches. So you can build a $1 million business with yourself, an appointment booker, a VA, and 2 coaches. I really do believe that as you go through. So looks like the appointment booker's got a few questions, which I will handle. Josh Bus, do you have a script for them? Absolutely. Yeah. They follow a script. You're probably familiar with it, Josh. It's the 9-box script that we use. So they follow that, and they have to give that to our business development manager who meets them for the face-to-face consult. Do they have the option, Brad? Do they have the option to book their own calls, or does your app setter do it all? They've got the option to book their own calls as well. But the app setter does most of it at the moment. So, and I'm just about to hire another one. I just want to scale this up a little bit more, and it's a really easy way of doing so. as you go through. So if you haven't looked at it, definitely do a bit. Look at it. I know I've got to wind up in the next few minutes. So, Sean, can I clarify what a JV is? Joint venture. So just look at those other partners that you could potentially work with that we can piggyback on. If they could book in, would that go straight to your closer, or would you make sure the app booker takes it? Just clarify that, Josh. Just flick yourself off mute, just so I can...
They can book straight in for a call. Would you still get the appointment booker to go through the clarification and hand it on to the closer? Or would you just let, if they're booking in for an appointment, go straight to the closing person?
Yeah, I haven't... to be honest, I think they could go straight to the BDM if they're booking straight in.
Yeah.
If they're and I'm doing this in the education business at the moment. It's funnily enough, I just did some training about how to get your leads to book straight in. And have you seen that?
No, I missed it.
Yeah, okay. So how to book them straight in, and they're already really warm because they're booking in for a call. They're already at that point where they've kind of done what the appointment booker would almost do anyway, as you go through, and it's great because it saves time, and it just makes it really, really streamlined.
I was thinking of you, Jackson, for sure.
Yeah. Focus 2, and this is as you grow. So the biggest thing, and I've already mentioned it, it's just my biggest observation because it happens to me all the time as well, is opportunity cost. And people are not aware of this as much as they should be. Is every time you add a staff member, every time you add a product, every time you add a marketing flow, there is going to be an opportunity cost at some kind of level, unless you've opened up the space to do so. And so you must be aware of that. And this is why I stagger the profit silos as we go through. And then the biggest area that now I work on really with a lot of business owners or gym owners is that the bottleneck that they have in their business, once they kind of hit around that $300,000 mark, is themselves. They don't have the managerial or the leadership skills because they've been a great technician. And so as you evolve and as you start building a business, you are always the bottleneck. You are always the bottleneck in your business, like the primary bottleneck. And so you have to evolve and become a better leader. You have to become, or you hire great people that are really good people managers to do so. And, that's certainly the case in my business as well. My business, it's been well over 7 figures for a while, but it's hit this plateau, and that's on me and my leadership skills. And we're only now bursting through it because of all the work that I've done in the leadership space. And so the same thing as you is, if you're hitting a bottleneck, have a look at yourself. Are you being the best leader you can be? If not, then make sure you do the necessary development as you go through. So that's essentially where I believe the industry is going. That's where, that's the architecture, the methodology to a 7-figure business. Guys, love to hear from you. What's been most